My name is Michael Dana. In 2008, I was diagnosed with a rare brain cancer, and after 6 years, I was cancer-free. But the ordeal left me changed, with a different outlook on life and a new sense of priorities. While still recovering, I earned a degree in economics from UNC Chapel Hill. My studies taught me to analyze data and open my mind to see things differently. I also started formal training in the martial arts to better defend myself and use it as a means of extreme physical therapy. Since then, I've obtained black belts in 3 martial arts. I own and run a martial arts school and have logged over 51 teaching hours. To my friends and family, I'm a simple business owner. But to the martial arts world, I'm something else. I am Sifu Mike, and this is Dragon Theory.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hope things are well. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about the system, okay? And basically all systems, everybody kind of agrees that the system is broken, okay? A lot of people say that, and it applies to several different kinds of systems, whether it be the political system, or the criminal justice system, or the restaurant system, or the martial art industry system. Just pick a system. This is going to apply to all of those systems that have people in them, specifically the ones that have humans. Alright, so there are other systems of things that are not human, alright, but they're still made by man. We're not talking about those in this video. We're talking about the ones that have people in them. A system basically is just kind of a set of things that all combine and work together for a specific goal. Alright, so those things in this context are people. Alright, people, they're all working together to do a thing. Alright, so I'm going to try to break this down as easy as I can, and that's why I got this guy. Alright, this my little pin. I'm going to use this as an example. I want you to think of a system, the pin. Alright, think of this pin as a system. Okay, so this is my system, and what it writes I don't like, so I'm going to change my system. Change the system. That's what everybody wants. Change the system. Okay, and really I do kind of talk a little bit about how to structure your speech and how to kind of get that involved. But now we're talking about the big picture, not just the individuals within it. Okay, we're talking about the whole system. So pin, alright? Now, this pin is my system, and I can change just a whole bunch of stuff about this particular pin. I can take the cap off, I can get a different kind of ink, I can change the casing, I can, put like a spoiler on it, like a car, whatever. So I can change stuff. I can put like sensor pressure grips on this thing, like a grip safety in a gun, where I have to like bear down a certain way to actually get this pin to work. Or I can put a pressure on the tip, right? So I have to bear down a certain amount to make it work and make it right. So I can change everything about this pin as far as how it writes, right? That's what I can do. I can change how this thing writes. I can affect how this thing writes. What I'm not doing is affecting what it writes. Okay? This is just a tool. I want to change the thing that this tool is used to do. Alright? I want to affect what is being written, not how it's being used to write, if that makes sense. This is, like I said, this is a pen. And because of modern technology, pens have evolved to typewriters and then computers. And now, we don't even use this unless you're like writing a check, but then you can kind of print it. So, there's several different ways now with technology to write. That is your system. We can change that, but we're not changing how people write. We're not changing what is written. And that's the thing. That's what I want to get across to you, is that there are too many people that focus on the system, on treating the symptom, and not curing the disease, the person writing with a pen. Alright? What they're actually doing. So your focus is off. And again, this applies to all kinds of different systems. Okay? Just pick one. Focus on the people in it and change their perspectives, change how they think and view the world, right? That's how you're going to get actual change in a system that is run by people, that is also formed by people, right? Is that you stop focusing on this thing, this tool, and start focusing on the person using it and how they're using it, right? And so that's like the very simplistic thing, is just to shift your focus away from the words, right, that are being written by this pen, and go for the person saying the words, or writing the words, right? And so the easiest way to do this, honestly, is through education. Just increase education. All kinds of education. Everything. Teach people everything. That's going to be the huge thing in every situation, is to increase education. Alright, so I'm going to do a little story example, and this is really kind of cool. I'm an economist. I like correlations. I like things that relate, and when I was in college, I took a class in the history of education. And in there, they talked about how in 1952, Sputnik went into space and orbited the Earth, and the space race began. Okay, and the U.S. response to that was actually to, well, among many things, was to increase education. All right, so they took a vested interest in the education across the entire country, and because of that, one of the things they did was to desegregate these schools, and they put an extra emphasis on math and science. So those are the three big things I want you to think about. Emphasis on math and science, and desegregate. So they increase not just knowledge of individuals and of lots of things, but they increase the type of knowledge, right? So now, again, like I said, really interesting, cool correlations. 20 years later, in the mid-70s, we have the founding of Microsoft and Apple. Okay, they're founded by dudes in their 20s. Okay, 20 years later, people who directly benefited from an increase in math and science. All right, they founded Apple and Microsoft, and it's not just like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. They, like, people working with them, also in their 20s, right? And then also in the 70s, you had Roe v. Wade, right? You have a massive social decision that was made. All right, that was all a generation after education increased. Now here's an even cooler thing. 20 years later, right, in the 90s, there was a study, and I read about this in one of my econ books. It talked about how they would try to figure out why the crime rates dramatically decreased in the mid-90s, right? One of the things they found was that it was because of the Roe v. Wade decision 20 years prior to that. Okay, so basically, education was increased, and then 40 years later, crime went down, as well as we have this massive boom in technology. So I guarantee you that back in the 50s, their focus was, we want to win the space race. Okay, everything that happened, all the good stuff that happened, was a result of an increase in education that happened way back then. For an entirely different reason, they've just decided, hey, we want to win this space race, so we're going to increase education, make people smarter, and then as a result, we have technology that changed the world. We have a decision that definitely helped a whole lot of people, both socially, economically speaking, and it's just huge, right? So education did that as a result. That's something we need to focus on. It wasn't like they focused on the system. They weren't trying to change the system. They were trying to make people better, make them smarter. That's what we need, okay? So you have that, and then like a generation later, right now, you know, the best thing we have is like memes and, you know, emojis and selfies, all kinds of stuff, social media. You know, speaking of which, YouTube, you're probably watching this video on my YouTube channel, tkfmma. Alright, I even have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all tkfmma. Okay, and you can go to my website, tkfmma.com. tkfmma.com to get information about what I do in my school, or you can go to thedragonmethod.com where you can get video tutorials on all things martial arts, because education, man. I'm trying to educate you. I got like over 24 hours of video tutorial footage just on that site, right, of all kinds of things to make you better educated at this thing, okay? If you know yourself and you know your enemy, then winning is a result, all right? You can't effectively defend against something if you don't know what that something is. You can win any game if you play by your own rules. And the easiest way to do that is to make sure your opponent is still ignorant of the game that they're playing. So not even knowing the rules, they don't even know the game they're playing. Okay, people have been doing this in all different industries for years, and I think you deserve a whole lot better. The knowledge is there, you just gotta go and get it. Okay, you gotta want it, you know, and not just kind of, you know, sit back and watch TV and Netflix and whatever like that. It's still fun. Some of it can be very educational, but, you know, we got to increase education abroad if we actually want to make any kind of change in anything. Okay, we got to learn, we got to get that knowledge. Knowledge, that's half the battle, man. Knowing's half the battle. Yeah, Joe. Anyways, so that is my kind of outlook and theory on everything, is that definitely need education. And if, like I said, if you watch my previous episode, right, I even split up into parts. I talked about how the human brain works and how you can phrase stuff to like influence that, all right, and how that is better working. In this parallels that video, so you can kind of like, this is almost like a part 5 kind of deal. So anyways, education, definitely, if you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe and share it and all those kind of good things, and check out my other social media sites. Remember, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all tkfmma, and definitely go to thedragonmethod.com. Again, thedragonmethod.com. And gosh, man, I hope you guys learned something. All right, take it easy. Have a good one.